You know, I bought some shoes from a drug dealer recently. I don't know what he laced them with, but I was tripping all day. I'm Matt Howes, and this is Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. Welcome back. Hello there, winners. Hi there, everyone. My voice is an angelic symbol of freedom. Once again, I have gotten over a cold, for the most part. I have gotten over several different illnesses over the last 2 weeks. It has just been a fucking nightmare of sickness in my house. And, you know, I am your escort down the aisle of fatherhood. And I do have to tell you that you will get sick often and always when you have a child. That is the first little bit of news I can ever offer you. But welcome back, Shits and Giggles, podcast for pops, podcast for fathers, podcasts for dads, dudes, and all kinds of beer, brats, and brews-loving guys. The Dadcast, the Pod Dad. Okay, I am the master of pod dadding. And guess what? I am happy to announce that I have won. Well, I guess it's not an award per se, but thanks to you all of you listeners out there, we have been officially brought into the ranks of the top 25 family parenting podcasts to listen to in 2020. We are living it up at number 23 on that list. And you know what? That's not bad. We haven't been around for that long. Some of these podcasts have been around for a pretty long time. We are on I just got to get the link to where it is. It is the feedspot.com/parenting podcasts. And that is, I've heard of that before. I've been there before. And it's nice to know that we're being recognized for how fucking awesome we are. Because we are awesome. But we, as the royal we, and the congenitive we, all of you, and us together make we of the number 23 podcast in the world, by the way, ranked officially. So you can pat yourselves on the back for being a huge influence on those numbers. Thank you, each and every one of you. And I will continue to grow. I will fight, strive, and I will kill for that number one spot on that list, and every list. And I want to win the awards. I'll take all the awards because this is the greatest parenting podcast for dads on the face of the earth. Number 23 currently. But that's only because we haven't been around for that long. Now listen, speaking of being sick, boy, I am just going to roll right into our first nice little segment, a little bit of Dadvice. Today's Dadvice, pretty simple, people. If you have central air conditioning in your house or apartment, it is very vital when you are sick that you clean the vents and that you take out and exchange the air filters. I just did that myself. My vent itself was almost completely blocked with dust, and that dust can hold that bacteria and germs and then be siphoned through your air and brought right back out, making it much more difficult for you to recover from an illness. If you're sick, the best thing to do when you're feeling on the mend is change out that filter. Clean out all the vents, get the dust out of those vents. A nice hand vac I just used, it worked wonders. Sucked out all the shit in there, and then open your house up a little bit. Open the windows, let the breeze take effect if you can. Especially if it's a nice windy area, that'll clear out all that nastiness. It's burn some fucking sage, for God's sake. I have been sick forever, it feels like, and you can tell I sound infinitely better. Last week's episode was quite the strain on my life, to be honest, and it was difficult to do, and then I got sick again I got better, got sick again, and then work was a bitch, let me tell you. You know, like I said in my post, parenting and work do take up a lot of your time. Now, I need to be the number one podcast, so this can be my number one priority. So you spread the word out there in Radio Land, podcast land. But yeah, that's a little bit of dad advice. Clean out your vents. Clean out your air vents. It'll help you get well much more quickly. Enjoy. Now, people, it has been a rough couple of days, but I have found an interesting set of topics that I would like to discuss, some controversial parenting topics, and I'm going to get into those right now. I guess I'm just going to go through a couple of these topics I found on the webs because they're very controversial, guaranteed to start a cat fight topics. And I'm just going to go on ahead and give my opinion on them and whether or not I think it's even worth a debate, to be honest with you. We'll start with the home birth versus the hospital birth. Now, fellas, I highly recommend the hospital birth. My wife, with her 38 hours of labor story that I have gone into several episodes about, she felt like in her nonsensical, horrible birth story was in like a third world country. So now imagine having all that nonsense, all that nonsense at home with no medical equipment and just somebody boiling water and probably saying weird chants over you. Now, I am not necessarily I am poo-pooing home births. In the world of medical science, people who shun science, people who are like, oh well, I think people have been giving birth for years in the wild. Well, guess what? We came up with technology to make things easier for a reason. You don't have to be stubborn because you were like, oh no, I swear there are several hundred studies that say that having a birth at home makes you bond much more quickly with a child. I'm like, cool. Well, if you bleed out at home, there's not a doctor there to fix you up right away. Whereas if you're in a hospital and with ultrasounds, now let's all talk about that. You have a breech birth, perhaps. A breech birth where you cannot give birth vaginally. In that case, it is a detriment to both baby and mother. And if you're the home birth, like, I'm going to do it all by myself at home, I'm not going to check, I don't think those fancy doctors know what they're doing. Well, if you're that kind of a person, that's how you put lives in danger, such as the people who go hiking and get lost in the woods for 6 days because they didn't tell anyone where they were, and then people die trying to save them. Those people I don't have as much sympathy for. Just like when you were like, I decided not to go to the hospital to have my child. I never really did any of the prerequisites. Like, it was all natural for us. We had someone touch my tummy and they said that it was going to be okay. And unfortunately, we almost died, both of us. It was horrible, horrifying, and it could have easily been fixed by going to the hospital. Now, listen, if you had a successful home birth in your life, good for you. Bully, bully, bully. But I believe in science. I believe in medical technology. And if something can be easier, it should be easier. Work smarter, not harder. Those are words I live by on a regular basis. And I would hope that you live by those on a regular basis, because I'm speaking to the intelligent people in the world. Now, that being said, I suppose there are people who go through all the real good necessary accoutrement, the ultrasounds, all the blood tests and everything, and then decide to have a home birth with maybe a medical professional present. That's probably the best worst case scenario you could ask for. But again, the doctors and hospitals exist for a reason. Oh, but I'm worried about all the money I'd spend going to a hospital. And yes, insurance and all that nonsense does inflate prices for things to an obscene amount of money to have a birth at a hospital. I know, we're still paying our bill. But do you know what else has a horrible bill attached to it? The bill of a rescue team coming to bring you and rush you to the hospital that you so desperately avoided. Now, again, my wife had a horrible birth story, so I can't imagine her going through that at home without any doctors or heavy medication that can help her, which, again, we learned the epidural never set, so she wasn't getting any of her medication. And let me tell you, men out there, my wife went through 38 hours of labor without medication. And Her only respite was every couple of hours they were allowed to give her a push into her IV, which was directly into her vein, not into the failed epidural that we didn't know about till we went to get our cesarean section. She went through 38 hours of labor. She literally told me she was going to die. She was so out of it. She hadn't eaten for 2 days. She was in so much pain. She said, "I'm going to die. Just make sure you take care of Penny." And she was serious. This wasn't a, "I'm going to die. Oh no." This was a, "Holy shit." She literally thought she was going to die. So let me give you that as something to think about. If your wife says, "We're going to do a home natural birth," not all labors come out like 5 minutes. For instance, we're watching this show 911. Awesome show, and its counterpart 911 Lone Star on Fox. There's 3 seasons of the first one out and 3 episodes of the second one out. It's fantastic. They had an episode where there was a baby yoga class where you're doing yoga with pregnant women. Now, it was a full moon episode, and so it was a what can go wrong will go wrong. I believe that's Occam's razor. I know that's Murphy's Law. Occam's razor is the simplest solution, oftentimes is the right one, like going to a hospital for a birth. Now, these women weren't scheduled to be like having their babies, and the EMTs show up, and all of a sudden 5 women go into labor, and within a half an hour their babies are out. That one woman delivered herself, and she's like, "That's my 4th, I don't care," and that Bob's your uncle. There's that. Not all labors last half an hour. Some last a full work week's worth of time. Some are 12, some are 14, some are 28, some are any time bigger than an hour. And that pain, let me tell you, that pain, watching my wife go through that was fucking horrendous. So if you're thinking about a home birth, think again. That's my thought on that, to be honest. But speaking of this 911 show, it brings me to another topic. They deal with a lot of, it's a 911, so it's all the things that you call 911 about. Heavily seeded into the show are domestic abuse situations and all kinds of things that put men and husbands in a horrible light. Now, I'm not crying, "Oh, we're not getting our proper representation," but I do say that stuff like this adds to the stigma that men are horrible and they're not good people and they're not good dads to the people, to the like crazy femmes out there, like the feminists that are like, men need to be put down. Those people are only fed by this kind of bullshit. Like, literally, this one dude in an episode was getting close to the friend of his ex-wife, or his ex-wife who ran away from him because he was beating the shit out of her. He got really close to him and then found her, stabbed him almost to death, and then kidnapped her to get back together. And she's like, "No, we're not going to do that." And they ended up she ended up stabbing him and killing him and getting away. But like, that's the kind of shit where I'm like, you know what? I look like a perfectly normal guy. And that's the thing that they always show. It's some perfectly normal looking guy that ends up being a fucking serial killer or a wife beater or a children beater or some kind of fucking awful person. And I gotta tell you, the spread is always men are the bad guys in every situation. And it does, as husbands and fathers, you know, I think the show is incredibly entertaining, and I'm not trying to change it one bit, but I'm constantly looking over to my wife being like, this is why people don't like men and fathers and stuff like that, because they're constantly portrayed in the media as the bad guy, and they're constantly the ones who are being blamed for all kinds of things. And listen, there are shitbags out there of all race, colors, creeds, and genders, all any kind of thing you want. There's shitbags out there, but you know, you got to go for the low-hanging fruit, I suppose, when you really want to go for a nice bad guy, because you know, statistically, I guess men have always been the aggressor, supposedly, but not everyone is an awful human being. And then they go into the toxically masculine, you know, I got to work out every 5 minutes, blah, blah, blah. I know toxic masculinity is another stupid thing. It's another PC culture word for saying that you're an asshole. Like, if your whole thing is like, oh, I won't hang out with, I won't sit next to another guy, and I gotta work out all the time. I'm like, that's okay. You can be that way without like shitting on everyone else for not being that way, and that's what I think of toxic masculinity. And I would hope no one out there is defending toxic masculinity, because masculinity is having the wherewithal to be a strong, independent human being while treating everyone with the respect that they deserve, in my opinion, and also sometimes lifting weights and doing all that kind of shit. But you don't have to go around constantly like, oh, I dropped another fucking LB, bro. And I'm like, good for you, man, good for you. And they're like, oh, just saying, media portrays all kinds of things a little bit differently, and that's it's entertainment value. It's got to be shocking. No one wants the mundane when they're watching a television show, but it's an interesting thing I picked up because we've been binge watching this show for real. But it's good. Hey, recommendation right there. 911 on Fox, both it and the spinoff. That's that little topic. Here's another one. Red shirting is something I just heard about, and I believe it is holding your kids back a year before kindergarten. And it can't be done everywhere in the United States, but it is a common practice in a lot of places, I guess. And I don't understand why you would do that. I guess many kids start kindergarten at the age of 4 or 5 years old, and it's all about development in their preschool process. It determines whether or not they're ready to make the step into kindergarten, and there's a number of factors for parents and skills for the teachers to consider. Stuff like that. Learning skills, social skills, interest, curiosity, all kinds of stuff, self-sufficiency, and all that kind of stuff. And now, granted, being developmentally behind is a reason to hold someone back. I went to school with some people who held their kid, who I was in a grade with someone who was then held back a grade, and I was now a grade ahead of them the following year. And it's social stuff, I think, is, especially going into kindergarten, I think your social stuff is huge because, and I understand learning is the biggest thing, but I believe the younger levels of school are essentially to socialize and to show you how to interact in society. This is my opinion. So I don't have a real problem, I guess, with red shirting. And I was when I read red shirting, I'm thinking Star Trek. I'm like, the guy who's going to get killed in this episode, now they made the shirt red because it made the blood easier to show. It's like, oh, and that's the way that it's called a red shirt. You can look it up. You have the internet. I don't need to baby you on this. But I can see holding a kid back because of developmental reasons. I'm all about development. I have a penny development section at the end of every episode. And I definitely am, personally, I am more focused on social development because I believe if you can manage society, you can get a lot farther than being able to do your times tables at an early age. I believe being able to navigate the ins and outs of social interactions and being able to handle yourself properly in any given situation is the number one thing. I went to college. I dropped out after a couple years, and I mostly socialized. I gained a social education, and I believe it maybe for the better. And granted, I don't recommend wasting the money if you don't want to go to college. College wasn't for me at the time. So I ended up just kind of, petering out of it. But the social networking, not social network, but social networking, the actual act of being social and networking in human time, like in real life, was one of the greatest things I believe I picked up. I learned how to compose myself and to put myself into different situations and to be able to get myself out there and to avoid that fear of rejection. And these are things teaching a child at an early age, I believe, 100% necessary. If not everybody learns scholastically the same way, and the older kids get, the easier I believe it is to teach them more intricate stuff. And if you drill it into them at a young age, first off, fuck Common Core math. I don't know when or where that asshole decided to make math difficult for everyone, but I don't want to take I don't want to go back to school to learn how to do math homework with my kids. And luckily I hear it's being taken out of most schools. So thank God. Like, it's math. It's been done the same way. Everyone knows how to do it. It's like literally language. So, but yeah, it does take a little bit of time to learn some of these things, but the basics you can drill in. And then again, now the kids have dyslexia. I have a little dyslexia, I feel, from time to time. I transpose numbers often, and those kids may have a harder time developing with reading and writing and arithmetic, but they might be able to excel in socializing. And that's again, so if your kid can't necessarily do all the math right away, hold them back maybe. I guess I'm a little both on I don't really have an opinion, I guess, on redshirting. I believe that a kid should be when they're ready. And I think at 4 or 5, you could probably have a conversation with them being like, do you think that you're ready to move up, or would you like to spend a little bit more time working on the things that you're working on now? And that's it, and again, my thing on that is teach our kids social skills early on in life, and later on in life have an economy class where they learn how to do taxes. I had to learn how to do that on my own from my mom. I had all that crap, learn how to balance a spreadsheet, all that kind of bullshit that was never taught to us in school. Some schools are offering that now, but we're talking early life. Social skills are a must. I was always talking to the adults. I was always talking to like my parents' friends, the teachers I always get along with. And again, that may be probably for when I was a kid, probably a little annoying, but those skills are the skills that evolve into being able to jump into a social situation, read the room, and get yourself in a better position at a meeting, at a job interview, any of those things. If you can start that social teaching early, learning how to navigate an uncomfortable situation without losing your cool, learning how to follow along, lean in, and then come in with your idea right at the end. That being taught early is more important to me because, again, not everybody's going to Harvard. Not everybody's going to go off to SpaceX and learn and build the next rocket. And I'm a huge, again, in this respect, I am a huge fan of the trade schools. I already told Sarah I'm going to make sure Penny knows that is a viable option. And instead of wasting is relative, but let me just say, anyone out there who has a 4-year degree that's not using it, I would consider that a waste of time. But instead of going to 4 years of school and then racking up debt, you go to 4 years of apprenticeship and you're actually making money. And after that 4 years, you make double that money. So that's what you think about. That's what the unions and trade schools offer, like learning how to build and fix cars, learning how to do things. You always are going to need people to do technical jobs. And so that's, I mean, I'm tangenting a little bit. Oh yeah, far be it from me to ever tangent. But here we are again on my thought on trade schools. But I very much enjoy the trade schools. And I had an option to go and I missed it back in the day, but I am actually on a list for a union apprenticeship. A year ago, I just signed in just to see if I could get a high paying job, and I'm on a list somewhere, Okay. Guys, I end every episode with vaccinate your kids or keep them away from mine. So here's our third catfight inducing argument. And my wife is in these mom groups. Now, dad groups, we talk about this every once in a while. We get into a little fuck you, and that's it. These moms are crazy. Listen, vaccinate your kids. There's no reason in today's society that some of these stupid fucking diseases that have been eradicated, polio was gone and now it's back because of you morons who aren't vaccinating your kids. The people who are excluded from this ire that I am throwing right now are people whose kids actually have an allergic reaction to the vaccines, who need to be on a delayed vaccine schedule, which is when you're allowed to be a little bit delayed. Maybe it's 6 months you start something and a year, but an actual schedule, not these bullshit parents who are like, oh no, he's okay, he's on a delayed schedule, but you never plan on giving him a vaccine. You just don't want to sack up and say that you're an anti-vaxxer like the piece of shit that you are. Now, if you actually cannot be vaccinated, which is a small percentage of the population, you are relying on the herd immunity. If you don't know what the herd immunity is, it is the fact that all of us are vaccinated, therefore the disease will not spread because it has been eradicated. So if you are around vaccinated people and you are unable to be vaccinated, they can't get a disease from you, and you can't spread a disease to them. I don't know how hard I have to drill this into people's heads, and if you don't like how I talk about this, you are more than welcome to A, reach out to me and we can have a conversation about this, and B, stop listening, because I'm never going to change I am open to debate. So that means I am open to actually debate, meaning that you could persuade me otherwise. I'd say that's an unstoppable force versus an immovable object, because most of these people are, I'm yelling at you and I'm not listening to your to what you have to say because I'm right, you're wrong. And that's the problem with a lot of situations today. I've said this before, I'll say it again. People are not open to debate. Now, when I say debate, that means that I come in with my opinion, you come in with your opinion. We have a structured argument, not a screaming match like fucking anti-vaxxers constantly just scream their stupid fucking opinions all day long. But we both lay out our informed things and our opinions on those topics. And we both talk about it. We bring up the pros and cons of either side. Now, in a debate, you're actually supposed to be open to what the other person is saying. Which, again, when I say I'll debate you, I'm open to hear your opinion. I just believe that science and medical advancements are so much more better than you as a party. But that being said, if you are able to provide a well-founded argument, like for instance, someone keeps saying there's no safety test done on these. One time I Googled safety tests on vaccines. The CDC, the Center for Disease Control, I came up and it says there are over 2,300 safety tests that have been done on vaccines. You can look it up yourself, and if I'm wrong, it's information I received from the internet, so that's my fault, I suppose. But it's people who are parroting dumb things. People who I love the meme. It's at the top. It's people who like actually research vaccines. It's scientists and blah blah, blah. And it's like anti-vaxxers, and it's a picture of a girl in the toilet like scrolling through her phone. Like again, no one really takes the time to do the research. If you really staunchly believe something like I do, not like I'm anti-vaxxer, I actually do the research. And my research that I've done, I don't need to share with you. We're not debating right now, but if we were, I will. But I've done research that says that vaccines are very helpful. They do not cause autism. And there's a whole shit ton of reasons why you should vaccinate. And again, please don't take offense to this if you are the parent to a child who is actually unable to be vaccinated. That is not about you. I'm actually doing this to protect your child because of the herd immunity. Like literally, I'm working for everyone on this one. Let's all do better. There's a fucking super polio that's came out that's like ridiculous. Like half of people's bodies are being paralyzed, and not like up and down. Like we're talking vertically. So it's crazy. And again, I look it up. I don't really have the information on that. I read that a couple months ago. But there are viruses and diseases coming out now that have been, I wouldn't be surprised if the goddamn Black Plague came back, I mean, geez, this coronavirus. Now, I know that there is no treatment for the coronavirus, but you see how there are things out there that are they just happen. Now, an anti-vaxxer might come up to you and say, oh, this is from vaccinations. Oh, that's like, okay. Like, only people who have been vaccinated have gotten the coronavirus. And you'd be like, oh, okay, and only people who have ever drank water in their lifetime have died. So I guess water is killing you. Only people who have ever breathed air have died. So I guess breathing is the true slow poison of life. And they don't live in a world of facts. It's again, I think I said this, flat earthers, anti-vaxxers, and Florida man all hold the same esteem in my life. They are useless, stupid, unscientific, honestly, anarchists. They're trying to break down the good parts of society. Oh, flat earthers are just fucking morons. I don't know why you need to sit in an opinion like that in the first place, because you're wrong. And yeah, because on flat earthers, yeah, this world can't get along for 5 goddamn minutes. But no, every government authority has agreed to keep the secret of this ice wall that surrounds the planet. You're all idiots, and you believe in conspiracy theories, and this is the kind of shit that you actually think that could be whatever. But no, you are literal burdens on society, and prove me wrong. And prove me wrong. I'm open to it. And just because I have a staunch opinion doesn't mean that I won't listen to you. Now, I would only ask that in a debate or even just a conversation that you would offer me the same level of respect that I offer you. I will listen to you. Now, I will insult you on this show till the day is long, until you prove me wrong. My belief is that you're all fucking idiots. Florida man, come at me, bro. But like, I'm willing to listen. In politics today, it's the same thing. It's who's shouting louder. I say this all the time, I know. But literally, no one wants to listen. No one wants to do the research. We're headline news people now. You read a headline of an article, don't read the article, start telling people this, it gains steam, and when you actually clicked on the article, you would have read that everything the headline said was not exactly what had happened. But now there's so much misinformation out there that no one knows the correct information, the actual story. And this is with everything now. People are just getting down to the point of parroting everything. That sounds right. I'm going to tell you. I heard a news clip on the news, so I'm going to just tell everybody that that's the way it is because the news said it. And it's like, okay, but you could do your own research. You know, and it's not hard. The internet has all the information, like all of it, like literally all the information, and you can find it very easily. So don't be sheep, I guess, is my final thought on that. I think that was fun. I enjoyed that. That was good. Like three topics. I gave my opinion. I think I'm going to do this. I have a few more I'll save for next episode. But yeah, I mean, listen, vaccines, get them. Red shirting kids, fucking fly your kite. Live your best life. Live your best life and do what you think is right. And what was the other one? Home birth versus hospital. Be smart, I guess. Be safe. Okay, do what you are intending to do, but be safe and don't be an idiot. And I think be safe and don't be an idiot is probably another tagline for this show. So we'll leave it at that. But with that being said, with those topics being put to bed for the time being until you all decide you feel like it's time for us to have an open discussion about it. And I'm willing to talk, guys. I really am. This is why I respond instantly to Facebook messages. I check Twitter from time to time. Instagram, we have the Instagram. Facebook, email, the phone number at the end of every episode. You call me. We could even schedule a time we could debate on the show. I figured out how to have people on the show. It's a thing. But you need to be intelligent about all the decisions you make in life. You are raising the next generation. I am raising the next generation of people. So if I'm being an idiot, they are only going to learn how to be an idiot from me. If I'm making informed decisions, maybe they'll learn how to be informed. I don't know. But whatever you do, everything that you do, your kids are sponges. They're going to absorb it. Little things you wouldn't even fucking think about. So just know that every action you make has an equal or opposite reaction. That's very simple, okay? And that's the end of my prepared material. So you know what that means? We're going to mosey on down the line. We're going to electric slide down to everybody's favorite WDAD coming at you every morning, top of the hour here. We're coming at you with the Dadly News. The Dadly News is, as always, brought to you by Hard Hats and Bibs. Who are they, you may ask? They are a group of men and women who aim to show that it doesn't matter what gender you are. Parenting is an even distribution of responsibilities. It is time to break stigmas. There is a lot more to them than just that, but you can learn more yourself by going to their Facebook page, by searching Hard Hats and Bibs. You can also reach out to them by email at hardhatsandbibs@gmail.com. They are also on Instagram and Twitter. Love promoting equality amongst parents. It is something that people really need to know. So keep it going, Hard Hats and Bibs. Here's our article today. It is from today.com. Dad's post about baby talk sparks heated conversation on Twitter. A Wisconsin father of two has sparked a Twitter debate after he posted that he and his wife speak only in sentences to their two children. "My wife and I never baby talk to our kids," writer Adam Smith said in his tweet. "We use full sentences and a wide vocabulary, including complex words. My son is 3 and can carry a full conversation. Adults at family gatherings are shocked at his social aptitude. My daughter isn't even 2 and she uses 4-syllable words." Smith goes on to explain the success he's found in his parenting method, saying his 3-year-old can carry full, like I just said, 2 syllables, multi-syllable words. Comments beneath these, Smith goes on to encourage homeschooling and calls public schools a meat grinder where many die. Let's see. Smith's comments have gone viral on Twitter, and in the comment thread below his tweet, the internet is having a blast and their own 2 cents. "My son is also 3, and we never baby talk to him either," wrote one Twitter user. "I use full sentences and a wide range of movie quotes. Adults at family gatherings are shocked that his name is Inigo Montoya. Inigo Montoya. They killed his father, and they should prepare to die. I'll have you know, my 3-year-old son graduated top of his class in the Navy SEALs, and he's been involved in numerous secret raids on Al-Qaeda with over 300 confirmed kills," joked another. "At family gatherings, adults are shocked that he is the top sniper in the entire U.S. Armed Forces." Another wrote, "That's nothing. My 2-year-old has already retired from making a killing on the stock market, and that was after his film career. As a control, we talked to his elder sister, and we talked baby talk to his elder sister, and she's a disaster. She only speaks 4 languages. What a Dumbo." Another one wrote, "I never baby talk my cat. I read to her from Peter's Evil Overlord list. My cat is 22 and has personally ensured the destruction of 17 would-be heroes, amassed an army of 10,000 Doberman sharpshooters, and is constructing her first doomsday device." That's a little weird one, but whatever. But all joking aside, what is baby talk? And when it comes to speaking to small children, is one method better than the other? Baby talk is called Parentese in the research world, and is the way most adults naturally engage with their babies, said Rebecca Parlakian, a child development specialist and the senior program director at 0 to 3, an organization that works with babies and toddlers. It's speaking more slowly with exaggerated vowels and a melodic intonation, Parlakian told Today Parents. The research on Parentese tells us an important way that young babies begin to crack the code of their home languages. In fact, one study found that between the age of 6 and 14 months, babies whose parents use more baby talk showed better language skills at 14 months than parents who use less. At the end of the day, there's no need for parents to stress over how they talk to their babies, whether it's Parentese or not. The most important thing a parent can do is use language to connect with their babies and toddlers, to describe the world around them, to ask them questions, and to have a back and forth exchange, said Parlakan. That is, hands down, the best way to help little ones learn to talk. Now, I talk baby talk all the time because my daughter will say, like, ah, dad. She's all about da, 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 da. And I will say it right back to her. And I'll be like, why not? I'll talk baby Billy Madison quotes to her. You know, he used to be like, a baba gooby, I shad goobo. And I'll do that because I just like chit-chatting with her. And guess what? We're not cracking open Shen Tzu's The Art of War. I don't know if that's the actual art, writer, but we're not covering that one right now. We're still doing the Places You'll Go, which I reviewed in episode 7, and like all the other shit little books that have like 2 words on every page and very colorful illustrations. My opinion on this is, do what you want, but don't shame other people from doing what they want. I think I've made that clear on my stances. I have my opinions. I'm not, unless you're an anti-vaxxer, Florida man, or a flat earther, I'm not going to shame you for your opinions. I do it. We all are in this parenting thing. No one knows how to do it perfectly. Everyone's got a book out there. Everyone's got something to do. Baby talk. I love it. I think it's fun. And I don't care if you don't do it. Go for it. But again, if that person's study, according to this article, just said that it actually increases their ability to understand and comprehend language. So what are you going to do? Other things say having any screen time in the early ages delays speech and all kinds of other things. So, are you not putting the TV on at your house? And then people are like, oh, well, you can't have TV on, but you can play music. And what's the difference between TV and music? It's the same thing. It's words being broadcast from a speaker. It's all about how you feel comfortable raising your kids. I think I've made that clear. I think that you should raise your kids however you want to. Just vaccinate them and tell them the earth is round. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's very pretentious the way that person posted, and I think it's great the way that the people reacted to it. So that's my opinion on that. That's the deadly news. We're going to have to move right along here. I actually got to go pick up my little Penelope from her daycare, so I got to wrap it up here pretty soon. So we got to move on to Where is My Penny at developmentally? Where is my penny at developmentally? Where my penny at developmentally? I said. Where my penny at developmentally? I said. Where my penny at developmentally? Boy, howdy, sleep is just a thing of the past. A thing of the past. She is up a lot. We are transitioned her into her crib, finally. She's doing fairly well. She's getting through 2 or 3 hour spurts without a bottle. A couple times she did a really long time. But in the end, sometimes we got to bring her into the bed to co-sleep, which I understand not a lot of people agree with, but it's whatever can calm her down for us right now, and we're being very safe, so calm your shit down. I don't care about your opinions on that right now. But yeah, so she is in her crib, and I got the baby monitor set up and the rainmaker sound thingies in there, and it's just lots of waking up, lots of getting up, and then we've been sick, so it's been a friggin' nightmare. At one point, Sarah was sick that she was confined to the bedroom. And I literally, of course, I'm going to step up. I took care of Penny all day, but it is exhausting. I tip my hat to my wife. How you fucking did this while you were on maternity leave is beyond me. But boy, yeah, it's, just been a long time. And then we've all been just being sick, and she's a little sick. It's just a whole thing. They say with sleep for babies, the more they sleep during the day, the more they sleep at nighttime. Now, how ass backwards is that? Okay, well, who wrote the book on this shit? Like, how about the less they sleep if they stay up all day, like an adult, they sleep all night? Why can't you just be an adult right now, Penny? Like, that's ridiculous. I'm talking to you, lady. I'm a little nervous about the upcoming traveling we'll be doing. We're going to Boston next week. We'll have a fun episode for you coming back from that, and it's just going to be crazy, traveling with a kid, 7-month-old on an airplane. We're going to be those people. I'm sorry in advance to anyone traveling within the 6 rows of us, but we'll do our best to keep her quiet. Had to buy a fucking stroller, like a disposable stroller, almost one that we're taking with us. We're taking the car seat with us. Oh, God, it's just going to be fucking crazy. So I'm just maybe not nervous. I'm just not looking forward to the traveling aspect. Very much looking forward to being back home for a little while, seeing family. My father has yet to meet his granddaughter. I'm very excited about that. It's good to see my mother is going to be able to hang out with Penny. Going to be great. So it'll be fun. So I'm excited, but yes, I'm very irritated to travel because I don't want to travel anyways. But, you got to do what you got to do. Lastly, we got her on solid food now. Well, no, she's still doing bottles, but we're starting her on the solid food. She did it daycare. She did a whole bottle one day. Whole jar. So proud of her. So, the poops are getting a little more smelly. Oh, my little girl's growing up. But, yeah, solid food, man. Who would have thought? She likes apples. Who doesn't? She's a big fan of, the mixed sweet potato, the three things. We're mostly Gerber in this house because, hell yeah. Go Gerber. Gerber! But, now, that's about it. We got the pen development. I'm sure I'll have more for you next week. We'll try to get the episode on Tuesday. It's just, as long as I don't get sick again, I have now less time to come up with topics for you guys, but I now have a good well to draw from. I'm excited about these controversial parenting topics. They give me something to vent about. So, very excited. Again, guys, we're number 23. Number 23 out of 25, the top 25 podcasts for parenting in the world, on the planet. That's what they said. That's what the article says. I'm very happy. Again, it is I will tell you the website, blog.feedspot.com/parenting_podcasts. I shared it on the Facebook page. I mean, I don't know. You don't need to go there unless you don't believe me, but I'm super fucking stoked because it's nice to get the recognition, not only from you guys every day, but from some kind of reputable news source. Very exciting. Thank you, all the people over there and all the people who made this possible. As always, guys, if you or a friend are about to be having a child or recently had one, this is the show for you. And again, even the moms, this is something helpful to hear the frustrations of a father who's not afraid to show his frustrations. And this is a good insight onto what we have to deal with as dads and what stigmas are against us. So don't be afraid to share this. I appreciate it. We've gotten thousands. We just passed 3,200 followers. That is amazing. We have a lot going on here, guys. I am back. I am in the swing of it. I'm feeling the energy. I'm feeling the flow, feeling the love in this Chili's tonight. You know what I mean? I feel God in this Chili's tonight. That's all I'm saying. Office reference. I thank you guys. Again, it's the greatest. It's a good feeling knowing that someone out there is listening to my bullshit. I'm just telling you how I do life. You don't have to listen. I appreciate that you do. I just got stickers. I don't know. Hit me up if you want a sticker. Shits and Giggles logo. Pretty cool. Pretty dope. I'm going to have some swag, I think. I might do some fun contests. I'm thinking about some fun stuff, some nice listener interaction because I like you guys. You're good out there. So yeah, I mean, and listen, I gotta go. It's the end of my life. No, it's not the end of my life. Excuse me. It's the end of my show for the day. And ladies and gentlemen, I am going to leave you, as I do every week, with my world famous words of wisdom. My kid is better than your kid, and vaccinate your kids or keep them the hell away from mine. I'm Matt Howes, and this has been Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. You've just listened to one dad's perspective on parenting. This show is not meant to be an authority on how you should raise your kids. Did you enjoy the show? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share on social media. Leave a review. Anywhere that you can find and download podcasts, you can find Shits and Giggles. Find us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at shitsandgigs42 with 2 G's. Email us at shitsandgigs42@gmail.com. You can find us on YouTube as well by searching for Shits and Giggles, a podcast for dads. Don't forget, you can also call the hotline to leave a quick story about you as a parent at 818-835-2350. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next time.